to show you how to use the WordPress for Toastmasters system to organize your agenda, keep your meetings on time, and also structure the form where members can sign up and you can assign them to roles. I'll show you how to add, delete, and move the content blocks representing meeting roles and agenda notes, which are the stage directions of your meeting. These have been redesigned recently with more of the settings moved to the sidebar. This makes it easier to work with them when you want to rearrange the order of activities. The controls for blocking out time on your agenda have been improved to include this timing summary. As I make changes, for example, to allow more time for the Sergeant at Arms to open the meeting, that preview updates with my changes. I'll take you step by step how to work with all of these things.
Here we have a sample meeting that's blocked out to have 3 speaker slots, 3 evaluators, and there's a theme stated at the end, as well as a button we can click if we expect to be absent for this meeting as a member. It's a way of signaling that we won't be available. And we can see a printable view of this same agenda. So this is set up as an hour-and-a-half meeting, starts at 7, and by 8:20 the president is supposed to be wrapping up if all goes smoothly. Now, if this was a 1-hour meeting, we'd need to tighten things up a little bit. But one of the things I'm going to show you here is how you rearrange your agenda, add and subtract elements, and also how you can adjust the time allowed for different activities. So suppose we're going to just change the lineup for this one club meeting. Maybe we're experimenting with a few things, and if everything works out, we may make this our new standard club agenda. So because I'm logged in as an editor, I get this menu up top where the top item is Edit RSVP Event. Now, WordPress for Toastmasters is an extension of the RSVP Maker plugin, which gives us the calendar event and event registration functionality. So this opens in the WordPress Editor. This is the same editor that you would use for making edits to your home page or creating or editing a blog post. But it has some specialized blocks in it that are specific to a Toastmasters meeting agenda. Now we could just start typing here, and what we'll get is a paragraph. You can see over on the right we have paragraph controls, and we could make this larger if we wanted to. We have bold and italic. And we could also add other standard components here. Now to add a different sort of block, the WordPress editor is based on what they call blocks of content. So if I want to add a different sort of block, I could pull up this little menu by clicking on the plus sign that appears in lots of different places on the screen. And I can search for image. And from here, I can either upload an image or I can pick something from my gallery of previously uploaded images. And notice that the right sidebar changes to give me controls that are appropriate for an image. So I can say I want the medium-sized version of this and I want it to be aligned to the center. So these components would appear on both the agenda view and on the sign-up form. So if I want to add one of these Toastmasters specific blocks, I can click on the plus sign, and the plus sign appears several different places on the screen. It's just a insert block control. And it shows me some of my standard blocks, but I can also narrow it down by starting to type the word Toastmasters. We'll add a note that says Sergeant at Arms leads Pledge of Allegiance. And I'll move this to after Sergeant of Arms opens the meeting. So we're just trying to block out individual activities on the agenda. And after that, let me show you another way of adding a block. If I go to any blank line, I can type the / character, just start typing Toastmasters, or even more specifically, I know I want to add an agenda role, so I'll start typing the word role, and that will come up. And from here, I can either choose one of the standard items, or I can choose custom role. So this is going to be where somebody comes up and tells a joke. There is humorist on the menu, but our club has the tradition of calling this the joke master. So there's only one joke master per meeting, and we're going to allow the joke master 5 minutes to tell their joke. Update this. So when we go back and look, now we have a joke master role available to sign up for, and in the agenda view, printable agenda view, we see that image up top. We see this new activity we added about the Pledge of Allegiance and the joke master role. And if we decide that this is just perfect, this is the way we want all our future meetings to be, we can follow that link to update our template for all our meetings based on that particular event setup. Now, this event template screen I've landed on is something that you can navigate to under the RSVP events menu on the administrative screen. And actually what I would probably want to do is go back and edit this some more to take out these things that I added just for practice. And we can also add some stuff. So I'm going to add a sign-up form note. So just like the agenda notes only appear on the agenda, not the sign-up form, the sign-up form notes only appear on the sign-up form. So this can be a way of giving an instruction, like in this example, please do not sign up to speak several weeks in a row without filling some other supporting roles. I'm also going to grab this joke master role and move it down to after the topics master is introduced to lead our table topics. Let's take a closer look at the speaker component. So the count is the number of occurrences of that role, so 3 speeches in this case. And then time allowed is the amount of time that we're going to allow for our speakers. So you figure 5 to 7 minute speeches, 3 of them would be about 21 minutes. Maybe we want to allow for the occasional longer speech. So you can play with these parameters. And we also have this other factor called padding time, which I've got set to 1 minute. And that's just a little extra time that's not available for people to sign up for speaking roles, but it's in there for introductions, for futzing with slide projectors, that sort of thing. One caveat is that the timing summary doesn't automatically update when you add or delete an element on the page, so you do have to save and reload the page in some cases to see all those changes. I'm going to go down to my editable note here, and I'm going to change that from theme to theme and word of the day. Just a little flourish there, and we'll leave our absences component in place. That is something that I found useful in several of my clubs. Actually, we're going to change that to make it visible on the agenda who's not going to be at the meeting. Again, those are all choices. And once we save this, it prompts us to create or update the list of events based on the template. So we can check them all. These were all previously created. I compare the relationship between the template and the individual meetings as the cookie and the cookie cutter. So the cookie cutter stamps them out all the same, but you can decorate each one differently. And it's a magic cookie cutter because you can go back and update all the meeting events based on the latest template. Now, one thing I might also do, this is a scenario where the club has been finding that because of growth, members are finding it difficult to get on the agenda. So we're going to plan an extended meeting or a speechathon sort of thing. I'm going to set this up for a second block of 3 speakers with a break in between, 5-minute break in between. I can simply add a new role, or actually to save a little bit of time, I'm going to use the duplicate role function. So now we have 2 identical speaker blocks. And one thing I need to do then is change this second one to start from 4. So the first block will be speaker 1, 2, 3. The second block will be speaker 4, 5, and 6. We had the 5-minute break in between. This means I also need to change the number of evaluators to 6. And we'll double the time allowed for evaluations. And update this. If we look at our agenda now, we'll see that second block of 3 speakers. We'll see 6 evaluators. And our meeting time is now a little bit over 2 hours. It goes to 9:05. So we might want to tighten something else up, but you can do that with the tools that I've just showed you.